Hey everyone. Today I'm here with David Hexler of LifeWord Technologies, formerly Rewalk. David is the LifeWord VP of Research and Development with 20 years of experience developing different technologies throughout the industry. He has a degree in electrical engineering and an MBA in entrepreneurship, in technology from the Technion Institute of Technology. David, welcome to this meeting. Welcome to Charting Cybersecurity. How are you today?
I'm okay. Thank you for having me today.
Thanks for joining. I really am interested in the background that you took to get to the world of cybersecurity. So I know that LifeWord is a medical device company. I'll let you explain a little bit about what they do. And while cybersecurity may not be the prime focus of what you do, or perhaps the most important factor in everything you do, it is a critical factor. It's relevant not only for the safety of your patients and the safety of business continuity and reduce also now necessary through the omnibus and also the September 2023 FDA cybersecurity guidelines that you have to have proper cybersecurity measures in place in order to be placed in the US market. And I would assume beyond. I would love for you to tell us a little bit about LifeWord. And then I would like for you to explain what it is you do in your words on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. Here at LifeWord, we develop various technologies that help people with disabilities. And the company was founded at the time Argo Medical Technologies and Rewalk Robotics, just some name changes to support branding efforts. But the company was founded by Dr. Lofer, and he was disabled himself as a result of a car accident. And he asked himself, how come there isn't a better solution for disabled individuals in a wheelchair in this day and age? This day and age was over 20 years ago, but still the technology was evolving, and that's what prompted it, like use an exoskeleton, which would assist people who are disabled to their ability to walk. Since then, we've expanded into other areas as well, disability to stroke, and with our latest acquisition, so altered into a broader technology which helps a broader patient audience to mobility. And what's common to these three product lines that we developed is we're using technology to help people that are less fortunate, I would say, due to circumstances, regain an ability that they had or gain an ability depending on. And I think it's a very bright side of technology, making the world a better place. And then you could ask,
I agree.
how does that have to do anything with cybersecurity? And I would say, unfortunately, it does. Because as you employ technologies into your product, and our products are technology driven, and
Sure.
the technology, obviously, having a different mechanical based technology, not necessarily a vulnerability. Uh, the you're connected in some shape or form to some work or have software, you're in the game. And unfortunately,
A game you don't want to be part of.
you have to be part of
Very much.
that.
Sure. Well, the cybersecurity aspect of it is something that it's true. It's something that years ago, not even that long ago, let's say even 10 years ago, the idea of a threat actor specifically targeting a medical device, or in, let's say, a life enriching device, if it's not life saving directly per se, the idea of that being attacked was just it was an absurd idea because how could someone be so cruel? But now we see over the last few years alone, more than a few years, that ransomware attacks and other ways of cracking into medical devices, um, um, a way of business for some individuals. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. That. But unfortunately, we live in a world that, as you mentioned, as you said, threat actors, they use their abilities to hurt across the board. I think the first time it was in a conference, but like you said, around 10 years ago, that in a conference, an individual demonstrated how we can break into a heart,
A
Uh,
pacemaker or?
yeah, pacemaker.
Okay.
Break into pacemaker, which is obviously very troubling. And also, if you watch the series Homeland, in one of the series, that's exactly was one of the plots was that a terrorist organization breaks into the pacemaker of the president of the United States. And it was about at the same time.
It makes for good Hollywood.
Yeah,
Hopefully it'll never happen.
no, but it
Yeah.
coincided
Yeah.
when it was demonstrated at a conference.
Sure.
Uh, and since then, I think the FDA, either because of the conference or because of Homeland, uh,
Probably because
uh,
of Homeland. We always follow entertainment above science.
yeah, so they take
No.
they take cybersecurity very seriously. Uh, I think the latest guidance um, sets very clear guidelines in conjunction with medical device regulation, MDR in Europe. Both of them outline the specific processes, methods, and expectations that the regulators for medical device companies and when it comes to cybersecurity.
So for your specific role, and I would love cybersecurity answer, how do you explain to your mom or your grandmother or someone else who didn't grow up in the era necessarily of such advanced technology, how do you explain what you personally do?
That's a good question. Actually, for me, it's even I get these questions from my kids, which is about
Okay, equally.
uh,
Explain like I'm 5. Yeah.
yeah. It's I say I build robots to help people who can't walk. It's very simple.
So
And
your mom would say, "My David builds robots. He was always so good at building, and now he builds robots for people who need help walking." That's a good way to boast when you're out with friends, to show off a little bit about your
well,
kids.
it's actually true. It's actually true, and I'm
Yeah.
very proud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It brings good to the
something,
world.
yeah, but something we're all here for a limited amount of time. We have to make the best of it.
Yeah, for sure. And so if because ideally, this interview will be viewed by other people within the cybersecurity industry, as well as hopefully medical device and beyond. What's something surprising about your role with relation to cybersecurity that even somebody within the industry would be surprised about?
I'm not sure, that there's much surprise here. I think the surprise is, as mentioned, that people will target potentially target such a population. These people are, as I mentioned already, less fortunate in this aspect due to their
Sure.
disability. The fact a- that rather than making the device they're easier to use, they're cheaper, or whatever, we need to devote our energy and resources to protect against such obscene threats.
Agreed.
I think
And
that says something about the human race in general, but
yeah, there's a
probably
lot for every threat actor. We want to hope that there are many people trying to stop them. And with that, that's a good segue. Everyone's talking about AI. Obviously, it's not exactly new. But at the same time, the way we're seeing generative AI evolve over time by industries, so going beyond image creation, going beyond the writing, looking at how AI is being used both by threat actors and by people within the industry, within medical, let's say, even if you're not necessarily utilizing AI today in your cybersecurity practices or in your cybersecurity development for whatever reason, what role do you see AI taking or in the near future? I'm not saying one day down the road, perhaps it'll, whatever. In the next, let's say, 6 months to a year, do you have any plans to utilize AI or are utilizing, or what would you need it to do in order for it to be something that really makes a difference in the world of security?
so actually today we're not employing it for
That's okay,
that.
by the way. You don't just throwing an AI label on there doesn't make it better.
Yeah, we are exploring uh, as part of a research project with Israel Innovation Authority and a consortium of other companies using AI to improve our capabilities to security, but we can use for making the device easy to use in terms of vision and the navigation, etc. And during this research project, which is been going on for approximately a little bit over 2 years. I've been exposed to a lot of the latest technologies from various universities and companies here in Israel. I think we're at a time in history where it's a real capabilities and technology is here. And the question is how people are going to use it. And there's no question you can use it to do what we're trying to do, improving our product. And you can definitely use it as a tool, whether it's any type of, even a brute force. And there's computation capabilities soar. There's endless opportunities for threat actors to take advantage of them. I'm sure that they will. And probably
Yeah.
at the same time, way to defend from it. I'm not sure this is something we'll see in the medical device world in the next 6 to 12 months. I'm pretty certain that if you look outside of that world, in the world of servers, big threat actors, I would say almost for certain that these tools are already employed without having any specific knowledge, just
Yeah. Yeah.
general knowledge. It, it's just a logical thing to do, unfortunately. Um, and I'm sure these things are employed.
Yeah. For threat actors, we've definitely seen it when it comes with the different companies I've worked with. Some have really embraced AI and what they do. Some have taken more of a branding approach, throwing an AI sticker on it, and some are just saying we're going to see what actually we're making a medical device or some kind of secured product. We're not going to go with market hype. We're going to make sure that whatever we're doing is actually the most secure. And I really liked something the FDA pointed at a lot in authorization, which was that a safe device is a quality device. And I think it also goes vice versa, in that the products you're developing, and again, I'm not a software developer, and I might get a lot of hate in the comments for this, but the product that you're developing ideally would also be developed securely, whether you're a regulated industry or not, because you want to make sure that you don't have any bloat in the coding. You want to make sure that there's nothing that was just copy pasted that might have some kind of malicious code or intent in there. So it's something that during Q&A, whether you're regulated in developing a medical device or whether it's just wanting to make sure you have a product that'll perform properly in the field over time, it's just so important to make sure that a good device and a secure device go hand in hand. So I would like to know if you could change one thing about how people think about cybersecurity. And I know your role is not only cyber. I know you do a lot outside of cybersecurity. It's just one aspect. But if you could think about how people think about cybersecurity or how people think about the devices they have in their home, whether it's LifeWord or whether it's something else, what would it be? What would you change about the way people think?
I think in the past weeks and months,
I'm putting you under the spotlight here. It, sorry, yeah.
I think in the past few weeks that we live in Israel, and it was attack on Hezbollah, a beeper attack, which employed.
Yes, the pager attack was
Yeah,
impressive.
I don't think anyone has any questions as to which world we're living in. Basically any device today that has software in it and is network connected can be used to employ a cybersecurity attack, which can result not only in a loss of integrity or whatever, but actually amount to
Life and limb.
to physical consequences. Let's put it this way. So I don't think we're talking about anything. I don't think anyone will be surprised, both because of we see in Hollywood movies and series.
It makes for great entertainment. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it just as much as anyone else.
But we see it in reality. So I don't think anyone has as much surprises or anyone that's interested in it. I would say that, one of the possible outcomes that we'll see, might see, it's hard to say anything. I think there's a saying that says that prophecy is a hard business, especially if it has to do with the future. We might just see less network connected devices, because in the end, the best way to protect yourself is not to be network connected. Maybe you don't need your washing machine to be network connected. Obviously,
Right?
you do need to be network connected. And there we will see probably a heightened level of security and hardware security and more stringent methods. I don't think there's, I think there's much that is known. Anyone that interested, anyone that listens to the news, watches movies, understands the threats, understand that almost anything is possible. And unfortunately, the human race many times uses their innovation capabilities as a weapon. Sometimes it's a weapon that's needed, like in the case of Hezbollah, which is a terrorist organization, but it's also vice versa. The terrorist organization or states can, or rogue organizations or whatever can employ the same type of threats. And probably the biggest threats are state actors. And
Sure. Sure.
talking about Russia, Iran, and North Korea, there's a multitude of evidence that they're involved in various attacks against Western countries, interference in elections. The list goes on.
I think to sum it up, perhaps what you said, I completely agree with what you said, and especially the last point. That a lot of it is state or state sponsored actors, and I have I have friends who just use device, right? Being in cybersecurity, I take an extra precaution in the way I connect devices just by default, because that's what I've been around for so long that to me, it's just the way you do things. I think for a lot of people, including a friend who owns a logistics center, and he was like, "No, we're so small. Who are we?" And I was like, it's not really about how it's not about going after the largest target. And this can also be placed with a connected refrigerator, connected medical device, okay, anything else. Is that once you're connected, there is a risk. If device doesn't have to be connected, I agree, consider whether it's worth connecting or not. But some devices have to be. And I think some basic steps, such as passwords, not leaving things out, don't share your information, things like that. It's known amongst people. Right? Don't talk to strangers in the US. It's never give out your social security number. And then you go online and it's whatever. As long as the connection's easy, I don't care. And then everything is put at risk,
I'll tell
including
you even
medical
something.
records. And
Yeah, I'll tell you even something more alarming. But I have another role. I'm the head of my local council in my community. As such, I'm also involved in security related issues to my community and security cameras installed. And after the 7th of October, we had a security breach. Someone or some organization attacked our system, and we never thought that we're not
yeah,
that interested to anyone. And then when I dug deeper, apparently the attack on October 7th by the Hamas was accompanied by a cyber attack on a lot of settlements bordering with Gaza. And they managed to infiltrate their security cameras and use the security
interesting.
cameras to lead the attack. And one of the main reasons because they didn't change the default password.
Right. Which I
Unfortunately,
know now there's a big push in the UK. Oh, I'm forgetting the name. There's a big push now in the UK for there's a whole legislation just on passwords. What is a what is a strong password? When you install a device, the manufacturer has to make a default and you have to change the password upon installation. It's not something you could just do later. So that's yeah, I think a lot of times we just don't consider ourselves a worthy target, but that's not necessarily for us to judge because even if me as Rafi, there's not much information to pull as a hacker. It could be that it's just a piece of a much bigger pie, that there's a lot of activity going on and your device that was taken over or some other kind of incident that occurred may be part of a bigger picture. David, that's all the time we have for today. Although I'd love to continue this conversation further. How can people get in touch with you? What's the best way for them to reach out directly?
I'm available on LinkedIn, Facebook, email, WhatsApp, whatever. You don't have my phone number, either Facebook,
Contact me.
LinkedIn, the best way.
Excellent. All right, David, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.